What does this mean for the Patriots this season in terms of a Super Bowl run and long term here?
I think this answers some questions for me sometimes, Molly, when I was watching this year with Josh Gordon and the slow progression of Josh Gordon within the offense, but then it sort of stopped at a certain point. So I'm saying to myself, where are the targets? Get him some more, get him some more. It's almost like, well, they knew that this was definitely possibly something that could happen. And it would be one day, boom, he's gone. So maybe that's why they didn't try to make him a feature piece of the offense, if you will. But I really still thought he was valuable. He was valuable in terms of you still have to look out there and see 10 and see Josh as a defender and respect what he could do. Taking that away now, I think, is a big blow. And it's a big blow possibly that can, you can look to it as when it ends and if it ends in the playoffs or whatever it would have been. And you'll think, what if Josh was out there? Because not having one more option with the production slipping at times of the Gronkowski and inside and Brady, he needs extra options. That extra dimension, I said, that Josh brought is now gone, and I think it can hurt them tremendously.
When I think of the best owners and GMs and executives and coaches in sports, they take calculated risks, calculated gambles. But that doesn't mean they always work out. Stephen A., I often refer to Dr. Jerry Buss, the late, great Dr. Jerry Buss, the best owner in the history of American team sports by far, in my opinion, by far. And he took a lot of calculated risks. That means the odds were stacked in his favor, but there was a downside, and frequently it worked out for him. And Belichick does the same thing. Belichick takes calculated risks. So I believe before the season started, he thought Brady was in decline. He tried to trade Gronk. He knew that wasn't there anymore. And he's trying to make lemonade out of lemons. They're not the worst lemons ever. They're still a decent team, but he's trying to. So he sees Josh Gordon. Why does Josh Gordon, who, by the way, before Odell Beckham Jr., when was the last time we saw a rookie wideout like Josh Gordon? He was a phenom. When we think of Odell and Antonio Brown and Julio Jones, I don't think of any of those guys. Like, Josh Gordon's in that category of talent, and yet you got him for nothing? That doesn't mean it's going to work out. Belichick's the one who goes, yeah, I'll take that guy. I'll take a risk. It was a smart risk to take. Josh Gordon, as you saw, most receiving yards, hadn't even really gotten the hang of things, is dealing with issues, still had the most receiving yards on the team, in the last several weeks. And yet, ultimately, it didn't work out for Belichick. If it worked out every time, there'd be no risk involved. You wouldn't be in a position to pick up Josh Gordon in the first place. Patriots, I thought, were in trouble before the season. They're in bigger trouble now.
I don't think they're in trouble. I think they're done. And I don't think you hear that said about the New England Patriots very often, particularly in the Brady-Belichick era, particularly when you were on the defensive side of the ball, Teddy, playing for them. It's over, sir. And it's over not because of just Josh Gordon. It's over because Rob Gronkowski ain't the same. It's over because the multitude of weapons that Brady may have had at his disposal, albeit not big name guys, that doesn't appear to be the case. Now, if you want to make the argument that I could be wrong because we're talking about Bill Belichick here, who can find a diamond in the rough better than anybody, okay, I'll stand corrected at the moment that transpires. If some guy comes out of nowhere and he steps out onto the field and Brady's got him looking all world, so be it. But I'm talking about the roster that we've seen them assemble, the individuals that we've seen them put on the field on the offensive side of the football. I do not believe that the Patriots overcome this. I don't think that the Patriots are going back to the Super Bowl, and that's what I mean by over. It's not like I think they're going to lose to the Bills and the Jets the last two seasons, even though one of those losses are possible, I guess. Yeah. It's not like I believe that it's impossible for them to win a playoff game. They are not going back to the Super Bowl. That's my standard for saying that it is over. They are not going back to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, Stephen A., I don't disagree with you. Because I'm just going to bring up Belichick or Brady or anything like that, but I'm just going to look at where's the dominant team that would be the one that's going to definitely get to the Super Bowl from the AFC. I mean, the Chargers go into Kansas City and they beat them. I mean, there's no dominant team is what I'm trying to say. When you put all of these teams, first seed, second seed, whatever it may be, is there a possibility that any of them can be beat on a Sunday? It is. because I just don't see a Patriot team as good as it used to be. I don't see a Chief team that's indestructible. Do I see a Charger team that can lose? Absolutely. That's all I'm saying. I mean, have they diminished the New England Patriots from this loss of Josh Gordon? Absolutely, because I love Josh Gordon as a weapon for Tom Brady. But so who's it going to be then?
Like Stephen A., can they win a playoff game? Can the Patriots win a playoff game? Because as usual, they have a free pass to the playoffs because there are no quarterbacks in the AFC East. So if you say they can win a playoff game, and I think they can, all of a sudden they're in the middle of everything.
Well, let me say this to you. I think of the playoff teams in the AFC, I look at Houston Texans as the only team that I would be confident that they would beat. I think they'd lose to the Colts. I think they'd lose to the Chiefs. I think they'd lose to the Chargers. I think they'd lose to the Steelers.
Yeah, I think they'd lose to the Texans, too, to tell you the truth. I'm just saying,
probably
even if you think it's a 60-40 shot against them or something like that, that's not the oddest thing in the world for them to win a playoff game. Then all of a sudden, I agree with you. I think their season probably ends then. But still, they find themselves in the AFC Championship game. That's a bad season for them.
Yeah, and all those teams that you've mentioned, I've seen stretch this year where they look bad. And so that's all I'm saying. I mean, I'm not saying, they're my former team. They're going to the Super Bowl. I'm not saying any of that. This AFC, it's a toss-up. And it's what it's going to be.
Patriots are really short on talent right now, though. They're usually more talented than this.
Losing Josh is big.